Hello, everyone. This is Ken Quigley from Keystroke, and we're very excited today to introduce an entirely new feature called Dayminder. Now, the principle of Dayminder is pretty simple. Instead of you going to your CRM should come to you. I know that seems kind of backwards, but Dayminder, the purpose of Dayminder is to actually retrieve information from your CRM and deliver it to you in your inbox, which most of us are in almost all the time. So Dayminder does that by emailing you a complete summary of your day each morning. So you get all your scheduled tasks in order. You get all your timeless tasks, and we'll go through this. You see all your expiring opportunities. You will see all your annual events like birthdays and anniversaries. And then we send you an inspirational quote with each summary. So before we get into this, the mechanics of the services, it's important to state two things. One, it is free to Orange Care customers. So I know that we don't always email you and organize these events and build products just to say they're free, but we're happy to say this is a free Orange Care entitlement. And the second piece is kind of important and something that I think we should all kind of pat ourselves on the back a little bit. And this is that all the data is read live from our ACT database via the web API. I mentioned the second point because too often people think that ACT is only for small companies with small expectations. Well, we employ 30 people spread across 3 countries, and ACT is at the heart of our customer portal, our marketing, our project management, our surveys, our online bookings, web forms, integrated with our accounting, and much, much more. So let's talk about the first point. The first point about Orange Care, 44% of our current ACT subscribers, and we're the largest by far ACT reseller in the world, of our ACT subscribers are also Orange Care members. So without making this sound like too much of a commercial, we think the reasons for this are simple. One, the support. We're really proud of the support. People get great support not only for ACT, but also all the supported add-ons like Handle Contact, custom tables, Act for Outlook, Dash, Linktivity, QSales, and more. No one else offers this. Add-on upgrades. If you're an Orange Care customer and you're not aware of this, free upgrades on all keystroke add-ons during your Orange Care subscription. So I'll give you an example. So let's say you purchased a version of Dash 11 while you're on Orange Care and Dash 10, and then V11 comes out during your uninterrupted Orange Care subscription, you get that upgrade free. That's $150 value. Okay. The third point is Act for Mail. Now, this is something that we introduced last December. You get a free Act for Mail subscription. In December, we announced this, and it was really, really popular because a lot of the customers, and we're migrating hundreds and hundreds of premium customers over to Act Premium Cloud, and a lot of people are going all web. And one of the things that they're reporting is that they're used to the Act for Outlook integration. Now, if people are going all web, they don't have a local copy of ACT, so ACT for Outlook wouldn't work anymore. ACT for Mail is the next best thing because ACT for Mail is designed for customers that use an online version of ACT but have an on-premise version of Outlook. So it provides pretty much all the features, including the enhanced Outlook integration, contact and calendar synchronization, and even mail merge, which Outlook doesn't include. So there's that. And then the last piece, and this is sounding like a bit tub thumping here, but the last piece is Dayminder, which obviously includes many new features. Plus, what we'll be talking about today, which I haven't promoted prior to this, is the new Dayminder signature feature. More on that later. Okay, so last bit of sounding like a commercial. Orange Care is billed per user, okay, and costs $120 per user per year. So we shorten that to say PUPY. And for accounts with, and this is for accounts with desktop clients. If you are an all-web APC customer, it's as little as $96 PUPY, okay, per user per year. Okay, and you can learn more about the Orange Care details at link2.fm/Orange Care. let's start the demo. Okay. Okay, so the first thing we do is we go to dayminder.com. Okay, day-minder.com. And we have to register as a new user. Now, let me just say that the first person on your team to register has to be the primary account holder, because it's going to read directly from our ACT database and see whether or not you're an Orange Care customer. Not all your team members will be in our database, and not all of them will have a record indicating that you guys are Orange Care members. So the first thing that we do is we click on register as a new user, and I'm going to enter this in, but I'm going to know that I don't have my support key because it's asking me to enter my support key. So just understand the mechanics of this. After you set up your initial account, you're going to go to your other users if they're interested in this, and you're going to say, here's the account key, go set this up. And there's no requirement for them to be in our database. They just need the account key and they can set it up and they're good to go, and they can do everything else that we'll show you later. Okay, so at this point, okay, what's my account key? So I'm going to click on here, or contract key. And this is success. And I'm going to put in ken@kqc.ca, and I'm going to say get account key. Okay, so this has been emailed and it has shown me my account key. Okay, so now I'm just going to select this, and I'm going to go back to the screen. So that was pretty quick. And I'm going to put in ken@kqc.ca, paste in my support key, and put in my password. Now at this point, I'm creating an account, so the password can be anything. Okay, register. Okay, so now I'm going to get another email. I don't have to shift over to the Jeopardy theme music. So here we go, confirming the email. So now I can go to login. Spared you guys all the Jeopardy theme music. Okay, and I'm going to put in ken@kqc.ca. Okay, so now the first thing that we're going to see is the contract key. Okay, this is the key that you're going to copy and distribute out to any of your colleagues. Okay, now the reason it says change is that there may be a time where your contract expires and you need a new key, and you can use the same method, retrieve it, and paste that in here. Okay, but here it's showing that my renewal date is exactly 1 year from today, because I actually created the Orange Care for this demo, and it's showing the account as active. Okay, so the next thing is we go over to the API settings, because we need to actually connect to our database. Now, if you are an APC customer, Act Premium Cloud customer, then all you do is you go down here and you click on any one of these regional links. So for most of our customers, it's going to be one of the top two. We really don't have too many subscribers in the UK or the Asia Pacific or the EU. So you would click on here and it automatically populates. We, on the other hand, have a custom one. So I'm just going to put that in. Okay. Okay, and I put in the database name. And I save, and I test. Okay, now this will take a minute while it's testing. One of the tricky things if you're an APC customer is that you may have come from a premium world and then switch over to APC, so this connection is successful, but you don't know what your actual database name is. So let me show you how to retrieve that. So I'm going to pivot over here. This is my Act Premium Cloud login. I'm going to click on here. I'm going to select my standard demo database. It's going to log in. I'm going to click on here and hold on. So I click on the question mark about ACT. And you see here how this is hyperlinked. So I clicked on the question mark about ACT, and it shows my database name hyperlinked. So when I click on it, it will copy it to the clipboard. Okay, and then I can go back in, and where am I? And it will paste it in there. Okay, so that's a quick trick on how to get it. A lot of people were used to struggle with that, so we worked with ACT to come up with this easy method. Okay, so that's it for the API settings. So the one thing I will say is that this last paragraph references ACT Connect link, which has been discontinued. So we're going to be taking this out. So please disregard this. Okay. Okay. First thing, after we've got all that set up, we now have a connection to our database. So we can actually retrieve the information relating to, the scheduled events, the timeless tasks, opportunities, so on and so forth. So we're going to click on email settings, and we are going to enable this service. So the first thing is enable automated emails, and then we're going to set the time zone and the time that it gets delivered. Obviously, we have customers from the West Coast to the East Coast. The time zone is going to be important to them. They don't want to set it and have it be something that they don't relate to. So we certainly set the ability to support the time zone and then the email or the email delivery time. For me, I get up very early, so I set mine at 5. Okay. Now, we may expand the options on these in the future, but right now, you've got send email on weekends. I leave this checked generally because my weekend events are not in ACT, okay, whereas my Monday to Friday are. Depending on the nature of your business, if you're in personal services, then that may be something that you want to check. Show scheduled activities, yes. Show annual events, yes. Show timeless tasks, yes. And show expiring opportunities. Okay, so that is pretty much done. And now that's all you have to do. And the next morning, you're going to get emailed at 6 a.m. a summary of your day. But what does that look like? So let me just bring this up. Okay, not sure why that's so small. So let's just read it this way. Okay, so this is what you're going to get in your inbox. As you see, good morning, Chris Huffman. Below are the database details for February 13th. So this is what I received this morning. So it indicates that at 9:30 I had an AR meeting. It shows the time, the type, the subject, okay, and scheduled with. So it's rhyming off all the people that were involved. And then it shows my 10:30. Now this 10:30, this person used my Linktivity, my link to calendar online appointment settings, booked a meeting, and then they sent me a separate meeting request with their own join link for Zoom. So this is why it's in there twice. And then the final one is at 1 o'clock, and you can see I've got every person here that registered for the meeting. Now, ACT has a limit of, I believe, 150 people that can be linked to an activity. Okay, so it's not going to go beyond that. The next ones are timeless tasks. Now, we keep these separate because often people, certainly myself, will schedule a bunch of things during the course of the day, but it doesn't matter when it's done. So we don't like to clutter these timeless tasks up with the scheduled tasks. So we've got a much cleaner and uncluttered view of our scheduled activities. Now, the next one is today's annual events. So an annual event is like a date field in ACT that doesn't track the year. So if you say, show me all the birthdays coming up in the next week, because it's an annual event field and not a date field, it's going to disregard the year. So that's why people will record anniversaries, birthdays, contract renewals, and things like that in an annual event field. So here it's indicating the name, up here it's indicating the contact name. So I've got the two contacts here, the company, the emails, what field is relating to. So now I know it's their birthdays and the birth date information. Okay. And then here we've got the today's expiring opportunities. So we can show all the opportunities here by name of the opportunity, and then it's showing the estimated close date. Now, why is this important? Well, not only will your quote or your opportunity expire this day, but this gives you the last opportunity to reach out to them, connect them, see if you can close the deal within the estimated timelines. But also it prompts you to review the quote and say, is this a push or is this a kill? Am I closing the opportunity or am I extending it for another month? So this is really useful for most salespeople. And then the last piece is a quote of the day. I just thought that this would be nice as an addition. And here you can see this says, he who hesitates is a damned fool. Quote, Mae West. I am not old enough to have watched Mae West, in her prime, but she certainly comes from the black and white era, and she's a well-known cinema character from history. Okay, I have been subscribing to this for a couple of weeks now, and some of them are business-like, some of them are inspirational, whichever. We put it at the bottom of it so that we can have just like a nice little closing of the summary, an inspirational thing, and we've subscribed to a service that delivers that each and every single day. Okay, so hope you enjoy that. And then some branding. And then, of course, if you all have gone through this and there's something that you want more details on, then you don't have to look any further other than click here. You go to your my.act.com login, and then you can consume the data as you normally would with a CRM. But for the first part, that CRM data is delivered to you as opposed to you having to go to the CRM data. So we think that that's kind of a nice posture change. Okay, now let's go back here. So one of the little hidden Easter eggs that I have to admit I didn't even know about until this morning when I was reviewing with the developer is that, I mean, obviously logout means logout, but if you click on over here, you actually get a bunch of options here. So you can put in your information, but here is where you can change your password. So you put in your current password, put in your, and change the password. Here is the two-factor authentication. Okay, two-factor authentication, and you can add the authenticator app. And then, just to be GDPR compliant, I know that we're in North America, but we've got to consider all of these things. We give you the option of deleting all of your data. Okay, so if for any reason you want to stop using this, you can delete your account and remove all data from our servers. Okay, so this offers a bit of GDPR compliance. Okay, so let me just pause and see if there are any questions at this point. Okay, so far so good. Okay. Oh, shoot here. Okay, so now let's go over to the surprise part of this webinar, because I think we published a couple of blogs. We talked about what this service provides, and I think most of you guys wanted to come in and see a little bit more of what it's about and what it offers and the process for setting it up. But the surprise today is the Dayminder signature settings. So what is Dayminder signature settings? Well, we find, and again, because we are ACT users, a lot of this is driven from our own day-to-day experience. When we are adding people to ACT, it always takes longer for us to scrape email signatures and paste the details into the appropriate fields. If you're in sales, or doing any kind of prospecting, you want people to be able to add your full contact information into their address book as easily as quickly as possible. If I'm out there and I'm prospecting and I send out an email, if someone's interested in adding me as a contact, I want to grease those wheels. I want to make that process as quick as possible. So what we've done is we've set up a Dayminder signature service. So let me show you how that works. So when we click on here, the first thing we have to do is click on Enable Signature, okay? The Dayminder signature. The second part is it's going to review all of the primary fields and allow you to select. Now, obviously, we set up the home address deselection by default. Most people won't want to put that in there, but that's an option. And then we put this here, okay? So I'm now going to just click on Save. and it will generate a URL. Okay, I'm going to get to that in a minute. But right now, let's say, because one of the reasons that we set all of this up as part of the Dayminder feature is that we already had, through the Dayminder settings, a connection to the database. And since most ACT users will already have set up all of their My Record details, okay, in ACT, they'll put in their address, they'll put in their email, they'll put in their cell phone, so on and so forth. They will, why enter it in again? So since we already had the database connection, what we're doing is we'll just say sync from ACT. And that way, if there's any changes, it will automatically pull those in. So if there's any change in phone number, website, you name it, it will pull that in from the API and populate this. Okay, so now the sync is being completed. So now let's click on preview. So that's what it's going to look like. Okay, now what I want to do though is, now if someone were to click on that address, it's going to show you this. Now it's showing API, email settings, signature settings, because I'm already logged in. Okay, I'm going to show you in a minute what it will look like separately. Okay, now you see it's already automatically loaded this VCF file, okay, as part of it. We'll get to that in a minute. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to close this, and I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to bring my Outlook settings up. Okay. And I'm going to click on File. I'm going to click on Options, and I'm going to go into my Mail, Signature, and I'm going to just make one little change down here. Okay, actually I did this yesterday. So you can see, click to add my contact details to your address book. Okay, and so I just typed that in. I clicked on this little link over here, put in my Dayminder. Now this one was from the beta, so I'm going to replace this. Okay, and now I've got this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this. Okay, and I'm going to click on, go up to my inbox here, new email, and I'm going to type in Ken a test email. Now, if you click on here, it's not going to work unless you actually hit hold down the control key and then hit it. Okay, it's not meant to work in this draft mode. So we'll just put in test. Okay, and out it goes. And yeah, here was the confirmation email. Okay, so now I'm going to pivot over to this. As I said, here is how it comes in the inbox. And this will get here in a minute. Let me just see if there's any questions. Okay, so we have, please share the links and step-by-step instructions. I will be sharing this whole video, okay, with everyone, so you're going to get a full, the full video with the step-by-step on all of this. Will there be available step-by-step? Yep. Phone call disconnected. Sorry, but web API and database name. Can you get back to that? Okay, so here is, let me just show you this. Okay, so now here is my email. So watch what happens when I click on this. And I'm going to make sure that I'm out of all my settings here, so I'm not logged in any way. Okay. So now this pops up, and I can click here, and this is going to show me that I've got all my contact information. Now this is added to people. The people feature in Windows 11 is going to be, obviously the Outlook will load for Windows 10 users or for people that set up VCF files as a default program for a different program. But for us, or for me, it's configured with people. So I can click on save, and that information goes directly into the contact. Now, let's say for any reason that you don't have, you don't have that control and you want to add them in, you can just simply click on here, open export. Now remember, when you clicked on add to Outlook or you clicked on that link, it not only displayed all of that information, but it downloaded a VCF file. So you can immediately go open export, import export, select VCF or vCard. Next, here is the last one. I've been doing tests on this. So then you just click on this, boom. Now it's automatically added to your address book. Okay, and that's it. That's how easy it is. Okay, and think that pretty much covers it. We got done in 30 minutes. Wow. Okay, so let me just check to see if there is any questions. So Kristen asked, just to confirm, you have to be using ActWeb. Thank you for asking that, Kristen. So Kristen asked, do you have to be using Act for Web? No, you do not. We've made it easier for Act Premium Cloud customers, but Act Premium Cloud customers that have a desktop sync can use it just as easily. Premium customers that are set up with their own self-hosted API or are hosted with a third-party hosting provider that has set up the API can do so as well. We've made it easy for people that are on Act Premium Cloud to just click on a button to add their API information in for a couple of reasons. One, that's the trend. Most everyone is switching over to Act Premium Cloud. And two, we know what the API URLs are for each region. We obviously would have no idea what self-hosted or third-party hosting addresses might be. So those you'll have to source on your own. But the point of this is that there you can absolutely use self-hosted APIs, APC APIs, whichever, and you do not require being, a web-only customer. People that are on APC with Desktop Sync have the same access to the API, just like they do for AMA, just like they do for APC mobile. Okay. So Kevin has asked, while on Dayminder, day calendar, can the task events, calls, or schedule be removed or rescheduled rather than flipping over to the database and create those? Okay, very good point. So what Kevin's asking is, what is the bidirectional, or what is the directional information? This is read only. Okay, this is not write access. So you have to log in to the database to make write changes to your task list or anything else. This does not provide you the ability to clear events. This is a one-way summary delivery via email. Okay, so beyond that, if you click on it, try to make any changes, which obviously emails are read-only, there's not going to be a write back to the database. We do provide the my.act.com link at the bottom in case you want to link in, but the email summary itself is one way. Okay. Okay, so Jude said just figured out the database name, just need to know web API address. As I said, if you are an Act Premium Cloud customer, okay, then all the regional APIs are here, okay? If you are third-party hosting, okay, or you're working with us and you're third-party hosting, then what you can do is you can go into Services, Act Hosting, Web API Lists. And since most everyone here is our customer, so again, Services, Act Hosting, Web API List, and you can retrieve your API address along here based on which version you're using. Okay, which version, which region, which language. Okay, good question. Okay, are there any plans for WhatsApp integration? I'm not really sure how that would be within the context of this particular service, but we are going to expand the functionality of Dayminder with a third service. It requires some API updates on Act's side, which I'm still nudging them along, so I'm not going to tease you guys with anything that may not materialize, but there's one additional database service that we're looking to provide. Okay, Jared asked, just to clarify, Dayminder is only for Orange Care customers, will be offered as an add-on subscription for purchase. No, this is just for, we have no pricing issues with this at all, or no pricing objectives with this. However, Jared, obviously you're one of our partners. We will provide access to you and the many, many, many Robolards that you guys employ. Okay, so happy to provide that service. Okay, so you get step-by-step instructions. Okay, that's all the questions. Let me just one quick call out. Connection failed. If you get an unable to authenticate message, I hate to say it, but that you can take that message very literally. Okay, you either have the wrong API address, the wrong database name, or there's a mistake in your credentials. Okay. If you're an APC user, make sure you're using your email address and not your contact name, okay? I actually made the same mistake in preparing for this demo when I was using the admin account. The contact name had a different address or different name than what the actual link was, okay? Who can we reach out to for support? Email service@kqc.ca. They should be able to provide it. We don't have your password information. I want to be super clear on that, and I think you should be happy for that. But we certainly have access to API information, help you and show you how to get the database information as well. Okay. Now, as I said, guys, and I want to wrap this up. I have been using this personally for the last few weeks. I find this tremendously useful. I'm pretty task oriented and I'm always referencing my calendar. But one of the things that I remember last Friday, I had a personal appointment that was moved from Thursday to Friday morning, and it's always Thursday. And I almost forgot it, but I got that Dayminder thing and I checked and it's like, oh, okay, I've got this 8 o'clock in the morning appointment. So if I didn't have that, this person would have driven across town to meet me at a restaurant, and I wouldn't have been there. So that was kind of a really nice help out. Okay. So with that, I'm going to wrap it up because I'm working from home today. We had a foot of snow and my dog is now barking in the background, which is not part of the show. So with that, I'll leave you guys. I hope that this was interesting to you. Watch this space for more features as we introduce them. The next one, I think you guys will be really excited about as well. But I think the combination of the Dayminder and Dayminder signatures, I think we're off to a pretty strong start. And I just want to thank all of our Orange Care subscribers for their patronage. And this is one way of paying you guys back. Have a great day. Thanks for showing up.